Hey, I'm Scott, and I'm an American in Bangkok, and today I'm gonna get serious. Got some serious subject matter. But first, I'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to Jack. Jack is looking to move to Thailand in the near future, and he's here now. I met with him, and he's checking out how he likes the place. He'll be spending a little time in Pattaya before coming back to Bangkok, and I don't think he'll have any problem fending off the money-hungry women in Pattaya. Some guys I worry about, from what I gathered in our conversation, I don't worry about him. He'll be all right, hopefully. And I'd like to give another shout out to Billy in Texas. Billy, I hope you're doing well. Let me know when you finalize your plans to come here. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to Sam from the Thai Culture Guide. Now, Sam is a Thai born in Chiang Mai, and he's lived in the U.S. for many years. He has a website. I'll put the link down in the description. And, you know, while I give a Western viewpoint of how to deal with Thais in day-to-day situations and what it's like to live in Thailand after living here myself for many years, Sam is Thai, and he knows the Thai culture from a Thai standpoint, and he'll tell you exactly why Thais think the way they do and what to expect when faced with certain situations. So you're getting two different viewpoints. You got me, who, you know, I got the Western viewpoint after living here for 21 years, and from him you get a Thai viewpoint. So his site is very good. I've checked it out. You may or may not know from some of my previous videos that I have a friend who had liver cancer. His name was Frank. He's 68 years old, and Frank was a helicopter pilot in the United States military, and he was also an instructor. And he and I, along with one or two, sometimes three, but usually just one or two other guys, would sit at Starbucks or McDonald's a couple times a week, and at least for an hour or two, we would discuss everything from politics to life in Thailand, to what's going on in our own lives. And we met about 2 years ago, and I've got to know him much better in the past year. And, you know, Frank was a tough old guy who he didn't put up with any BS from anybody, and he and I got along quite well. We had some things in common, and he really was a stand-up guy. And in recent weeks, he's gotten worse. He had to be put in the hospital. Then he got out of the hospital. We went out with another friend and met nearby. And after a couple of hours, he was like, "Hey, I got to go home. I feel really weak. I feel sick." And the very next day, he was put back into the hospital, and I went and saw him a few days ago, and he was noticeably weaker than he had been. He could not stand up on his own. He couldn't sit up on his own. He couldn't hold a glass of water, and he could barely talk. And I knew that he was having a hard time, and you know, he had liver cancer, so it was, even if he was able to eat any food or drink any water, his body didn't process the nutrients, and he was losing weight rapidly. And then I knew the last time that he wasn't going to be around for much longer, and I said my goodbye to him. And then yesterday, my buddy sent me a text message, and he passed away. He passed away at 2:50 in the afternoon yesterday. So I'm really sad about this. I'm actually sad, and I'm also happy because he's no longer in pain. Uh, he had two fentanyl patches, and he was still in a lot of pain, and he was miserable for the past couple of weeks. He's been miserable, and there wasn't much he could do about it, and he hated that. So in like I said, in one way, I'm very sad to see him go, and I was just getting to really know him, and he was a great guy. But I'm also happy that he doesn't have to suffer anymore. Um, and anyway, his death and his impending death got me thinking, and got our circle of friends thinking about the importance of preparation, and how important it really is to have all your ducks in a row. Um, Unless you have a very good reason for not letting them know where you are, one of the first things you should do if you are staying here for a long period of time, or if you're moving here, is to register with the embassy. And you can do this at least on the U.S. Embassy. You can do this online. You just go online and you register. You put in your address and a contact number, an emergency contact number, and I think that's quite beneficial. You never know when that might come in handy. Also, if you are married, uh, make sure that you get the official translation of the marriage certificate. If you have children, make sure they have their certificate of birth abroad, and you get this from your embassy or consulate. But it's imperative that if you want them to have the choice and to have the option of going to your country, in my case, I did it within days after they were born. But it's very important because it basically gives them the whatever nationality it is. I don't know how it is for some other nationalities, but in the case of the United States, you file the birth of abroad, you get the marriage certificate, and your marriage certificate translated. You get their birth certificate translated, and you get the certificate of birth abroad from the embassy or consulate, and then you can get their passports, so that not only do they have a Thai passport, you want to get their Thai passport, but you also want to get them their U.S. or whatever passport they need to have. You need to get that handled, and you do that as quickly as possible because you never know when you're going to go. And generally, people want their children to have the option to travel to that country. So in the case of my kids now, they have their U.S. passports, they have their certificate of birth abroad, and they are U.S. citizens. So if they wanted to move to the U.S. tomorrow, they could do so. Another thing that's extremely important is to get the Social Security cards for. Make sure you have your own, and that at least you know the number, but also, or somebody that you're with knows the number, and make sure your kids have those, because if you pass away, you're eligible for, the children are eligible for survivor benefits, or your wife is eligible for that survivor benefit, but you got to have the kids' cards, and that can help take away from some of the financial strain. Once you're gone, you're gone. You're not able to sign the papers. And one thing is that while the consular officer can determine and can write it out that they believe that you are who you say you are, that you are married, and that they are your children, and these kind of things, unless you have the accompanying documents, you're out of luck. It's going to make it much more difficult for you to take care of the things that need to be taken care of, so that if you have a family, that your family is taken care of, and that they receive any benefits that they are due. You also need to have a will or living trust, and I know, especially for younger people, this is not something that is thought of, but it is imperative, because if you pass away, you need to have that will, and you need to have a Thai will if your assets are in Thailand, and that's very important. I talk about preparation a lot, and an expat always needs to have an exit plan. Now, this is an exit plan. I'm talking about an exit plan if you want to leave for whatever reason it might be, whether it's with or without warning, and also in the case of impending death that you know is going to happen, or you just die. There needs to be some kind of a plan. We are operating on plan A. Well, you need plan B, and hopefully you can formulate a plan C, because you need to know your options and where they're going to take you. What options do you have, and what can you do? And you know what? You need to set money aside. I know that some people, they're scraping by, but you need to try to put some money away just in case. Money talks. Cash speaks the loudest. Cash in baht, cash in other easily converted currencies, like dollars, pounds, euro, yen, Aussie, Canadian. Another thing you can do is always have some form of ID with you at all times. And along with that ID, you should have 2 emergency contacts with you at all times. So in your wallet, you should at least have one form of ID and 2 pieces of paper or one piece of paper that has your 2 contacts on it. And if you have a copy of your passport, or you have your passport with you, there should be a section, one of the very first pages usually, that has a place to put your emergency contact. So, but 2 contacts is better than 1, because anything can happen. You might not be able to get a hold of a person or whatever. But if you register with the embassy and you are carrying a form of ID and you have contacts in your wallet, then you know that you're not going to end up as a John Doe. Now, maybe that doesn't matter to some people, but it does matter to me. And something else that I know some people that have completely lost touch with everybody back home. They don't even talk to people back in their home country, and I think that's a mistake. You really should want at least one person in your home country, preferably more, to know how to get in touch with you or someone close to you in case you have some kind of an injury where you're in the hospital, you need help, you're immobilized, you can't talk, or whatever. You need to have the backup. You need to have some kind of a support system set up. So I think all of these things are very important. And let me tell you that Frank's situation, while his family is taken care of, thank goodness, there are some things that he might have been able to do years ago that might have made it easier, or might make it easier for his family. And this is something that if you are alone, you don't have as many responsibilities. You have the responsibility to yourself and maybe to your family back home. But if you are here and you have a wife, or you have a wife and children, and you want to be, a stand-up dude, there are some things that you should do and that you should remember, so that if something happens, if the inevitable happens, they're taken care of. If you want podcasts, more videos, and access to me, you want questions answered, these kind of things, sign up for VIP membership on my website. And now through the end of November, get $10 off. It's $39.95 a year. I mean, come on, that's like $3.25 or something like that. It's hopefully my content is worth it. And you can also become a monthly subscriber. I'll put the link. You'll have the link up above and the link down in the description. You can send me $1 a month or $5 a month or whatever you want. You can send me a one-time payment, whatever you think that my content and my channel might be worth. That helps me to continue doing what I'm doing. It helps pay the bills. It helps buy me equipment as I am working right now towards doing more things outside, little mini documentaries and photography projects like I used to. I'll be honest, I have grown absolutely sick and tired of helping guys who are idiots. I haven't really done any videos in the past 3 or 4 months on guys who have some problem with their bar girl or whatever, and they're asking stupid questions that really don't need to be answered. Because let me tell you something, if guys have not changed in 50 years, guys have been coming here for 50 years, even more, even longer, and they haven't changed, they're still the same. No matter what I say, there's always going to be a high percentage of guys who are not going to listen to what I recommend. So that's all I got. I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Until next time, choke D, that joke and mine.